Hello everybody, it's Liliana Rowena, and today I wanted to talk to you about some tips for your first Lolita meetup. First time going to a comm, I have seen so many new Lolitas join during the pandemic, and I am so excited to have more people in the community, because more people is how we keep this fashion going, and I think Lolita comms are probably one of the best things about the community, in my opinion. Your in-person comm is probably going to be one of your best experiences in Lolita, or at least I hope that it is for you. Mine has been amazing, and I had my sleeves pulled up because I was doing chores in this earlier. I always feel so much more motivated in Lolita, and without further ado, I'm going to be taking a look at my notes. I've actually got some rest. I'm feeling motivated again. I was pretty demotivated last month, so I'm excited to start this. So my first tip is to keep up with what's going on in the community. Try to look up recent releases from big brands, big events that might be coming up that will give you some conversation topics, and when they come up at the meet you'll be able to keep up and contribute to the conversation. And I find that that can help, especially if you're someone who's a little more socially awkward, like having some like pre-prepared talking points and be like, hey, like I know what's going on, I can keep up with everyone, and I won't have to worry about it so much. So if you just look at like what the recent releases are, maybe go to the Lolita Updates Facebook group, check around on YouTube, see what's been going on so that you can keep up with the conversation at your tea party or picnic or whatever your meetup's going to be. My second tip would be to don't be afraid to talk about outside interests too, though. I find that there are some shared interests a lot of Lolitas tend to have. For example, like gaming, baking, I've seen sewing is another one, a lot of fashion history, depends, might be into music. There are so many things that you could talk about that aren't just Lolita too at meetups, but you've got a pretty high chance of other Lolitas also being into that meet. Make sure that you have an outfit that you feel comfortable in. If you're a beginner or you've recently started beginning, you might not have the perfect cord head to toe, but you probably want to make sure that you're not going to be constantly comparing yourself to the other girls the whole time, the other people in general, like, because if that's what you're focused on, you're gonna have a harder time enjoying yourself. And of course, like, there's different personality types. Like, I did not care. I was like, my second cord was a mess to my second meetup because I really only had one piece that actually worked. But I was happy in it myself, and I was so proud of it, and so I was able to just enjoy playing cards with the other people in my comm and just enjoy being there. Make sure you look up the address ahead of time, especially if it's a meet that's like not a well-known business or you're going to someone's house. Like, make sure you know where it is that you're going so that you aren't like day of like panicking and trying to figure it out. I speak from past experience. Also, make sure you have your transportation arranged ahead of time. You might not want to do this for your very first meet, especially if you haven't met any of these people yet, but oftentimes going into the future, it's very often older members of the comm who've been there for a long time have no problem giving newer members rides, so don't be afraid to ask for a ride. If you've never met any of these people before, it's probably the best not to do that right off, but once you get somewhat more comfortable, you can arrange that transportation ahead of time. But please don't be trying to arrange the transportation day of, because it makes it more stressful for you, the person you're asking, and you won't get to just enjoy that experience as much. Try to make sure that if you have joined an online group, which if you're going to an in-person meetup, you've probably joined an online group first, where they kind of like filter you through a vetting process, and then you're there. Try to like engage in the online chat, whether that's Facebook Messenger or Discord, so that you can at least get a feel for the other members of your group, so you aren't like going in completely blind, so you have an idea what some like pretty common shared interests might be, so you'll have an easier time keeping up, and it might feel a lot less awkward when you are just meeting all of these people for the first time. Try to be listening to the older, not necessarily older in age, but more long-standing members of the community, more than you're talking. Please feel free to like talk and engage, obviously, but it can be really easy when you're new to just want to talk over everybody because you're really excited. But oftentimes long-standing Lolitas have a lot of really important insight and information to share, and it can help you kind of ease into the group a bit better if you aren't like taking up all of the airtime at your first meet. I was a little guilty of that, not gonna lie. I was very excited. Also, speaking of more long-standing members, do not be afraid to join the chatting circles, especially if you're part of a larger comm of more long-standing members, if you don't know anyone there. Most of the time, people are really excited to have new members in their comm, so don't feel awkward about jumping into a conversation if you think you have something valuable to add to the topic or you want to be included. Most of the time, they're not going to be like, no, go away. You might think that, but they're not going to do that to you. You just jump on in and just kind of let yourself be there. Most comms are so excited to have new people. It's what keeps the passion going, and as people leave, if more people come, it can keep those comms alive, especially in places where you don't expect to have a comm. Like, I was so excited where I live because I had no idea there would be a comm here. I genuinely didn't think there would be because I live in a very rural state. And don't put tons of pressure on yourself. Just have fun. Like, you might mess up. You might let me not say mess up, but you might do some stuff that you'll look back on and be like, oh, that was kind of embarrassing, because you just don't know what the social expectations of that group is yet. But don't put so much pressure on yourself. Don't put so much pressure on your outfit. Don't put so much pressure on what your photos are gonna look like or how you appear to everyone. Just go and have fun, because the main thing at the end of the day is that Lolita fashion is supposed to be fun, and going to meet with your comm members is supposed to be fun. So just have fun with it. Oh my goodness, I have so many friends from my local comm. I will never shut up about them on this channel. You guys, anybody who's been following me for like over a year, you're gonna keep hearing about them. I love my comm so much, and if you haven't, especially right now, you might not be able to go right now because of COVID, but I highly recommend reaching out to your local comm as soon as you can, if you can find one, and when this is all over, go to a meetup. Go experience that. And if it's not for you, you don't have to do it, but getting to see other people in person who are into Lolita fashion is a whole other experience. Like, being a Lolita, especially if you're like a lone lifestyle Lolita, which I was through a lot of high school, I was still trying to figure stuff out at that point. It can be like a little weird. Like, you like being unique. For me, I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of like the little extra attention that I get sometimes when I'm more dressed up. But you can also be like, oh, am I the only one? Am I just this really weird person? And it can be like this sense of relief when you finally meet other people in person, not just people online, that you can connect with and talk to, and it's amazing. And I think it is one of the most wonderful, unique things about Lolita fashion as a subculture is just the emphasis on community that kind of connects us together even across continents. And I got so excited and made this like so much bigger than just tips for your first meetup at the end of this video, but I hope you guys all had a wonderful time watching. Thank you guys so much. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Liliana Rowena.